Hey there, my name is Avi. Today I'm going to be showing you my budgeting sheet in Google Sheets. It's a template that you'll be able to also download and use totally for free in the video description. So today I'm joined by my lovely Pup. We'll see how long that lasts. Without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. This is the template as it stands inside of Google Sheets. And in the video description, there'll be a link which will take you to this. So it's going to be a link. You'll see use template in the top right. This will simply open up in Google Sheets for you as well, and you can download it as a CSV or Excel file from there if you would like, or you can use it in your own Google Sheets. We see how long that lasted. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna explain everything in this sheet, starting with, you'll see that there's multiple sheets down here. So the number one, which is earning expenses, that's going to be the main one you're going to want to focus on and most probably do the most work in. And I've already put in some basic numbers and kind of templatized it a little bit so you can get a general sense of what's going to be here in this sheet. And I'll explain everything in detail. We'll start from left to right. So number one is going to be income. This is just going to be your main source of income, side hustles, bonuses, anything else on a monthly basis. So in this example, right, you have one job, you make $4,000 from that. This is going to be after tax dollars. We're not doing any additional work here for taxes and things like that. Side hustle and bonuses, all of that every single month is going to equal up to the total here. And this is done automatically. So there's a lot of automatic math going on in the sheet. You shouldn't have to touch that at all. And if you have any questions anytime, you can always send me an email or leave a comment down in the comment section below. Next up is going to be the average month summary. This is automatically being input over here based on the figures entered on the sheet. So you don't have to do any entering here. You could see all of the calculations and math in each of these. So yeah, we're gonna look into each of the fields for the necessities and wants, etc. in a very, very short second. Next is gonna be the full annual breakdown. And if there's any other spelling mistakes, please do let me know. I apologize about that. So the total after-tax income is being calculated based on your total income, right? And then it's timing it by 12. A lot of calculations similar to that throughout here. So the same thing with necessities, and that's going to tell you your percentage amount of how much you're spending on necessities in a given year. And same thing for wants and expenses. And we'll come back to this just to final explain it towards the end. So let's move on to monthly. And then over here, we have the annual expenses side of things. So just starting off with monthly, and again, this is a template. So you'll be able to make changes if you don't like the colors or if some of the information isn't right. If, let's say, for example, you don't pay for internet, you can simply delete it. You don't need it, and you can move things up and down however you would like. And you can change the figures as well. It's totally, templatized. We can change something like that. So again, we're going for zero-based over here. That's why the leftover field is looking as it is. So you're looking to obviously minimize expenses, increase saving, and you also have the annual expenses divided monthly in here as well. So we're gonna look and see how this all adds up together. Starting with monthly necessities, right? So this is going to be things that you see as necessities. So I would consider that food, groceries. I put donations on the top because I feel that's a necessary part of life. And then rent is also here as well, utilities. There's also suggestive different things that you can put either in necessities or wants in either section. That's gonna be up to you. Of course, try to be honest with yourself here and don't try to cheat the system. That way, it's gonna give you the best math you can possibly do so you can see, okay, I need to cut back on my wants or I need to cut back on my expenses. So anything that you see as a want should definitely go into the wants section. So the rest of this is, let's say, utilities, internet, and these numbers are not based on anyone in particular. They're kind of random numbers I threw in there that kind of made sense. And then we have transportation down below. So you can see like a car payment, if I were to get rid of that, how much leftover would I have to increase in terms of savings or anything else? You would see it's a nice chunk. And then my total necessity expenses also goes down in percentage quite a bit every year. So it's very cool to be able to see that data right away when you, let's say, get rid of an expense or change up some numbers. So we're also gonna have gas and tolls over here, and this is all changeable. The wants over here is also on a monthly basis, and there's individual percentages over here as well. So you can see the average monthly necessities equals 70% of your income. This over here is annual. That's because for the annual expenses plus the monthly expenses, it's being calculated and automatically put over here compared to your total after-tax income. So same thing for wants, right? Total percentage monthly wants is 834, and then it equals up to 1254 when you take in the annual wants over there, which we'll look at very, very soon. So again, these are just some suggestions. So $50 a gift, $50 on gifts every single month, Google storage $2 a month, nails if you're into that, haircuts, etc. And of course, you can adjust this however you see fit. You can get rid of things if, say, you don't pay for Spotify or something like that. I highly suggest this to be as accurate per what you actually spend in a given month as possible. Over here we have investments, and I don't see people doing investments ever on an annual basis. If that is the case, let me know. I'm more than happy to make updates to the sheet to reflect that. However, I've just included investments as a monthly category. So in here we have cash, savings, and IRA, and this is showing up in its own section in the average monthly summary. So you can see here how much you're saving in terms of that. And then also on the annual breakdown, it's being included over here. So you can see the full percentage breakdown. And so if you're looking for, let's say, the 50-30, 25 rule or something like that, then it's totally fine to use these percentages to get close to that number. So if you're looking to adjust your ratios, let's say you want your necessities to be 25% for wants and 50% for investments, which would be amazing. That's definitely not the average. You can see those percentages live over here. Moving on to the annual section. So this is doing very similar math. It's basically totaling everything up and then dividing it by 12 when we look back over here for the expenses divided monthly. And same thing for these sections, it's automatically doing the math as well. So over here, I just put things like additional tolls. If, say, you plan to travel, once a year for the holidays, oil changes, which is also maintenance, doctor visits, accountant. Honestly, we don't need these twice. And you can see a simple edit just like this. I can get rid of it. And if I want to move everything up just to make it look nicer, I can simply copy paste that and get rid of the last line again to make it look a little bit cleaner. And if you say you think there's not enough columns here for you, let me know. I'm more than happy to adjust it, but usually you can just go ahead and add a row above. You'll have to probably make a couple of changes here. Again, I'm more than happy to help with that. So just let me know. So then annual wants, also, you can see this is a nice percentage amount. Actually, something looks off there. I'll fix that. But you can see the credit card annual fee, club memberships, Amazon Prime, if you're paying for that annually, which I highly suggest if you're using it anyhow. And then vacations as well is something you would want to put here, and let's say a gym annual fee. So all of that is taken into account onto the sheet. Again, free to download in the description, so go ahead and go for that. Next, we will move on to the net worth sheet. So this is the second sheet within the same exact file. So over here, this is a very, very nice template as well to be able to calculate what your net worth is, including all debts, property, investment accounts, cash, etc. There's also a graph all the way on the bottom here, which is going to show you specific data per who you are and what you are currently up to, which is really, really cool to see. And you can see your progress throughout the year. So this is set up to be used on a yearly basis. I would then suggest duplicating the sheet so that way you have one for each year. So if you wanted to go back, hey, what was I doing back in 2024, back in 2025, 2026, whenever you're watching this video, you'll be able to do that nice and easily. So this is fairly easier than the previous sheet. It's basically just going to be a bunch of columns of all the accounts you have. So let's say you have a checking account or a savings account, then you would just put those numbers over here. Automatically, it's being calculated and added up in each of the sections. So again, this would be cash accounts, investment accounts, everything's being totaled up. And you would go ahead and check this every single month. So in this case, I set it up to start from January, but depending on when you are watching this video and using the sheet, you can just change the date above to be from, let's say, March until next March, and that should totally work for you. And that way you can continuously change the data and check it from month to month. So again, this is all being automatically calculated into the total assets on the very bottom. So then it's adding up all of the account types together. And this one's actually easier to just go ahead and add a row above or below, and automatically it's going to adjust accordingly. So if you had more property that you wanted to add here, such as a second car, third car, etc., you can do that. Everything again is being calculated here, and then it's going to minus all of the debts you have. So say you have, unfortunately, $2,000 in credit card debt, it's going to automatically lower the net worth down here. And this is the data that's going onto the sheet, or rather onto the graph down there. So if this number was to be adjusted to 20,000, you could see a nice change in the graph, which is going to be reflected every single month. So you'll be able to really track that net worth and see that progress from month to month very, very easily and visually with this little tiny graph, which you can also expand and show in different changes. You can change the colors if you'd like as well. Again, this is a template, so there's a lot of possibilities here. So let's say, for example, you went ahead, tracked your expenses, tracked everything on the first sheet, and then you now know how much you have coming in. So you're going to go ahead, put in your net worth, and then you can see and set an expectation for the next month. So I know, for example, I'm making another $500 after all my expenses. That is going to go straight into my savings account at the end of the next month. You can put that here, and that way you can set also an expectation for what you're going to expect by the end of that month. So in this case, if you're expecting an extra $500, right, you would change this to be 94,000. And hopefully the net worth is actually going to be higher than your expectation. That's what you're always going for. You want to beat your own expectations, and it's going to hopefully motivate you to go ahead and either sell something, make more money, etc. So it's pretty nice to have. The other two graphs other two sheets are very, very simple, and you don't have to use them. Again, everything here is optional, but essentially you would go ahead and put your credit cards over here just to keep track of how many you have, if you have multiple of them, or debts and you want to basically keep track of all of that in a separate place, you can do so. Again, you can do that on the net worth very easily. You can just set up multiple rows. So credit card number 1, credit card number 2, and put different figures here as well. If you need to keep track of debt, I would recommend doing it that way actually. And then lastly, we have the donations sheet. So if you are someone that gives tithing or Miser or something that's 10% of your income every single month, this is where you would do so. Simply go ahead and calculate the numbers of how much you want to give and how much you owe, and then over here you can add up all your transactions for tax purposes at the end of the year and just keep track of it, stay motivated, and see how much really progress you've made over the year in terms of charitable donations. So that is the full sheet. Again, if you have any questions at all, you can leave them down in the comments. You can shoot me an email. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe just for accessing the sheet, using the sheet. It's a huge matter for me to try to hit my goals in terms of subscribers this year for 2025. So I would greatly appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and feel free to check out my second channel as well. Link to that is also going to be in the video description. Have a great day. Thanks again.